What is up, everybody? My name is Bobby. I do music, and today we have all of the Tumnuses. Tumni, however you want to call them. I have all of the Wampler Tumnus variants, at least that I'm aware of. There might be some limited other run thing that I don't have that I'm unaware of, but these are the four that I am aware of. So we've got the Tumnus, the original, the Deluxe version, and then the Germanium variants of both of those as well. And I kind of cobbled together the idea that I would just kind of shoot them out, and I don't like that because it implies that one is inherently better than the other objectively. This is all subjective. It's all tone, it's all taste, it's all what we like and what we don't like. So what I'm hoping to do with this video is a couple different things. One, I want to illustrate what the Tumnus is and what it does and why it might be something you want to consider adding to your arsenal. And then how the Tumnus itself differs from the Deluxe Tumnus, not just in controls, but also in tone, because there is a slight difference there. And then also how the Germanium variants compare. The Germanium ones were both limited runs from Wampler. You can find them used now, but the prices are really jacked up. So depending on when you find this video, if you find this video helpful, the prices on Reverb as of recording this are kind of stupid, I think. I don't know, like they're like 300 and 500 for or something stupid like that. But I just want to communicate and show hopefully what a Tumnus is and help you maybe decide if something like this is right for you. So the Tumnus, the original, is, well, and all of them really, are based on the Klon Centaur circuit. I can't say whether or not they're exact replicas, because especially the Deluxe ones that have extra controls. But I know Brian Wampler likes to put his own twist on these sorts of things. So I can say they are Klon-inspired. I don't know how close they are to the actual thing, and I'm not about to spend a house and a half's worth to get one. So we're going to check these out on their merits. You can look at other clone pedals as well. I know Way Huge makes one. Archer has a couple variants. There's clones are a dime a dozen at this point. But we'll take a look at the Tumnus, Tumnuses, and see how they sound. Signal chain today, we are on my trusty Ibanez S320 with the DiMarzio deactivator pickups. Very high output passive humbuckers. We're going into, right now, my Synergy Friedman DS. Check over here if you want to see more on that. I did a video on that a while back. But it is basically a Marshall JTM 45 with a little bit of that Friedman flair, and I've got it set up as kind of an edge of breakup, low crunch sort of thing. If I go to the neck pickup, so we've got that. That goes through my 2 notes Torpedo Live with the same Mesa 4x12 Dyne IR that I use all the time, so all of these videos should be consistent on that front. And we've got a little bit of delay and reverb in the post-effects loop just for a little bit of flavor. Shouldn't be coloring the sound too much or distracting or anything like that. So we're going to start with this guy right here, the original Tumnus, and go from there. So the Klon and the Tumnus have the same knob layout as far as the controls. They've got gain, volume, and treble. And something to know about the gain, all the way down, it's 2 gained potentiometers, so all the way down you're getting none of the saturation, and it's really just a glorified clean boost. And any of the clipping diodes, whether it's the Germanium or the non-Germanium, aren't going to be affecting the signal. So with the gain all the way down, you do have a cool boost. We'll show you what that looks like. But the magic of, at least I think, of a Klon-style pedal comes in when you get the gain at least past noon, maybe 1 o'clock, and you start to get, we'll roll it in so we can hear it together. You start to get that saturation, that hard clipping, and you blend out the clean tone with that dual potentiometer. And what I think is kind of a neat thing is even though it's a hard clipping pedal where it's lopping off and distorting the signal, you still get a clean blend in there. Whereas on something like a Tube Screamer, it is soft clipping, and that clean signal is sort of inherently always in there. As you drive the gain up, you're controlling the balance as well. And I think that's just a neat characteristic of this style of pedal. And the other thing I love about it, and as I understand it, it has something to do with the slew rate of something. But it's a very fast pedal. It reacts really quickly to your dynamics and how hard and soft you pick. Whereas some overdrives, while they sound good, they can feel a little pillowy almost. This is very immediate and sort of attacky. So, of course, gain all the way. This is about what we get. And it responds well to pickups as well, different picking dynamics too, even with the gain pretty high up. I'm going to go to the neck pickup in single coil mode, and we'll go. Drive the gain back a little bit. I wouldn't say it's a high gain pedal, but it gets you, pushed into that crunchy sort of territory. The way I think of a Klon is it's really just, or a Tumnus anyway, it's really just more of whatever you're giving it. It just gives you more. So if you're starting from here, and you just want more, even though there's a considerable mid-hump in a Klon-style pedal, roughly around 1K, I believe, it still just sounds really natural. It feels really natural. It doesn't feel like you're like muffling and just kind of mangling your guitar signal. I'm a huge fan of this style circuit. So they got this, the Tumnus, and then my actual first one was the Tumnus Deluxe because I wanted a Klon-style with a little bit more control. So in fact, what we'll do to compare the two right out the gate is I'm going to set the EQ to noon, volume to noon, gain at 3 o'clock, and we'll hear the difference between the Tumnus and the Tumnus Deluxe. Now, there shouldn't be a difference, but there is a little bit, and you'll hear it, I hope. Regular Tumnus. Deluxe. So you might notice a couple different things there. What I notice is that there seems to be less gain on the Deluxe at the same setting. We can try this hot switch and see if that makes up for it. Let's go back to the regular one. It's a little closer, but we need some hair. Let's bring some treble back in. still feel like we're missing some low end there. There's still something more sizzly about the regular ones. So they do sound a little different, whether intentionally or not. You know, we can roll the treble way up on the Deluxe one. But it's just a little bit different. And better or worse, I mean, that's completely up to you. I actually am right now kind of favoring this, but, you know, some other day I might want it a little bit smoother and want a little bit less of that sizzle in there and go for the Deluxe. So, you know, and we've got these extra controls. The treble on all of these is the same passive circuit. The mids and bass are actually an active control. So what that gets us is extra control to do stuff like this. Cocked wah thing with the mids all the way up. Every time I hear a super scooped mid scooped tone, I have to do that. But it's the extreme ends of the mids is where it does the weird thing where it gets super scoopy. And then it becomes a little bit more natural sounding. More usable, I guess. That'd be good for a lead boost. And then it gets cocked wah all the way up. So let's leave it about and mess with the bass. Bring her back up. Let's compare that to the regular. So the original has a bit of a roll-off, but you can bring some of that back with the Deluxe. And again, we've got that hot and normal switch, which is actually pretty subtle. You notice it more at those kind of lower gain sort of things, but when you're like banging on it, it's a lot more subtle. But yeah, so we've got that. We've basically got the same thing with extra options and a slight tone variance between the two. So let's talk about how these compare to the Germanium variants. So we're going to go back to the regular Tumnus here, and we're going to set these roughly identical, and we can hear the tonal differences between the standard Tumnus and the Germanium one. Now, immediately I notice it's a little bit warmer, it's a little bit more mid-forward. What we can do here to try to eliminate any variances for tolerances, at least tonally, is max the gain and treble on both of these, and we should hear the full range of what we've got going on here. Very subtle, but to my ear, the Germanium is still a little bit more focused in the mid-range, and the regular one feels a little bit more broad and open. But again, they both do a Klon-ish style thing. Let's roll the gain back and the treble to something sensible, and we'll boost into our amp just a little bit here. Go back. So yeah, slightly different characteristics, very much in the same family. They don't sound like two wildly different pedals. So whether that difference is enough to warrant the extra purchase price of a used Germanium one, that is completely up to you. I managed to snag these while they were still being sold from Wampler, so I paid the list price for these. I consider myself very lucky in that regard. One thing I will say, though, is the way a Klon works, the diodes and what is Germanium or not Germanium don't get introduced when the gain is down. So, like I mentioned before, so if we set both of these up as just heinously loud boosts, no gain, treble at noon, volume all the way up. Here's the regular Tumnus. And again, we're starting from here. No difference to my ears. If I was using a Klon-style pedal as a boost with the gain down rather than with the gain up, the Germanium should not be on your list if that's the way you're using a Klon. However, again, once you bring the gain up, and let's do something sensible. Go back here. Yeah, there you've got a different characteristic, and that might be enough for you to say, like, no, I want the other one. I don't think, personally, going for, like, it has to be these Germanium diodes or it's not the right sound. Personally, I just go for what I think I like the sound of, not the it must be. And I really did like the sound of the Germanium. If I hadn't gotten in, I don't think I'd feel like I was missing out. Just throwing that out there. I could be completely wrong. Armchair psychology. Who knows? So, again, now we've got the Germanium and the Germanium Deluxe, and they're going to have similar characteristics as far as what the Germanium itself is actually doing. But again, slightly different, kind of tonal qualities between the two, similar to the non-Germanium variants. So we start with the standard Germanium, and then we'll go to the Deluxe. And I feel like the Deluxe one has something extra going on in the low mids, like when I hit those little palm mute sections. Go back to the Deluxe. This feels a little bit more active down there. Gain-wise, they sound fairly similar. Let me roll volumes back and get these set roughly the same. There might be a slight volume difference there, but they actually sound pretty comparable to each other to my ear. But again, we go into comparing the Germanium Deluxe and the non-Germanium Deluxe and see, well, maybe you're thinking of getting the Deluxe. Is the Germanium going to be right for me if I decide I want to spring for the used price of one? Or is the standard Deluxe that I can get at every guitar and music instrument shop going to be the one for me. And again, that's up to you, but I'm at least trying to highlight that for you so you can make an informed decision, hopefully. What I can't convey is feel, but what I can say is that they do feel very similar. They're both very fast response, very natural to play, very responsive. So starting with the Germanium, and then we'll go to the non-Germanium Deluxe on both. Let's bring the treble back up on both of these here. So I feel like the non-Germanium one is a little bit more stout and a little bit more bold. This is a little bit more focused, a little bit leaner in the bottom end, the Germanium one. And honestly, this is a term I've heard Pete Thorne use, so thanks, Pete, I'm stealing it. The distortion grain size, if that makes sense, how smooth or jagged it sounds when you're hitting like a power chord. That sort of thing. I feel like you've got that bigger grain sound. It's like it's a little hairier and a little bit more raw sounding out of the Germanium than the Deluxe, where it's a little bit more smooth. Again, neither is better or worse. It's all down to taste preference and, you know, what I'm feeling that day, how much sleep I got, how well I ate that day. So, but let me show you what I mean, or at least try to show you what I mean. So I'm just going to hit like an E power chord. And then we'll go to the Germanium one. It's just a slight difference in the character there. And it was actually enough for me, as well as it just being a little bit smoother sounding and less fizzy in the top end. The Germanium Deluxe is actually what lives on my board permanently. The other three I just kind of have standby on the shelf back there, where you can see some other pedals hiding that I don't use every day. But I do have a monster board to my side here with all of my favorite drive pedals. And I did have the standard Deluxe on there for about 2 years. And then I jumped on first the Germanium Tumnus, and I liked it, but I still preferred the extra control of the Deluxe. And then the Germanium Deluxe came, and I compared the two, and it was such a subtle difference, but it was enough in that sort of mid-forward, bigger grain, smoother sort of thing that I kept the Deluxe on my board. Again, if I didn't have, I kept the Germanium Deluxe on my board. And if I didn't have this, I don't think I'd feel like I was missing out with the non-Germanium variant. Again, they're very similar, obviously very much in the same family of pedals. They just, different options, slightly different sounds, feature sets. And what, again, I hope is that you come away from this thinking, having a better idea of, one, if a Klon-style pedal like a Tumnus or an Archer or something else is right for your rig, and two, what kind of feature set you might want to look for, whether it's in the Wampler variants or some other clone, or if you feel like you've got the financial wherewithal to pick up an original used clon rather, for however hundreds of thousands of dollars they're going for. Hey, more power to you. I'm just trying to help you out, help another musician out. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for checking this out, going on this journey with me. I really appreciate it. My name is Bobby. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I've got videos coming out every Tuesday and Friday. 9 a.m. Mountain Time is where I'm based. So, yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. Let's do something stupid before we say goodbye. And bye-bye. 4 Tumnuses might be too much.